Alrighty friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video and a super exciting share because I am joining in with the Yes Please Paper Crafts celebration hop that is happening right now. Beautiful Karen, she has a fantastic YouTube channel. She has over 5,000 subscribers now and I am so thankful to be able to join her in this celebration. And I am actually going to be doing a scrap lift of one of her pages for my share today. So for her layout, she used the Pink Fresh Studio Joyful Day collection and I have this one myself. So I decided to pull out all of those goodies. Got a bit of a plan for a color palette that looks something like this, and her layout is actually a grid design, and I like my grids to be very symmetrical and very perfect. So to make my life a little bit easier, I just whipped up this cut file. So I've called this one 4-block grid, and what I will do is I will leave a link in the description box below where you can go and grab it totally free. Yeah, just follow the link and you can download this for yourself if you'd like to create a layout just like Karen's and just like mine. That's there for you. Okay, so I have also included in my video today, I wanted to leave in a lot of the footage of me backing the design. So I obviously work a lot with cut files on my layouts and I don't always include this footage. Sometimes I do it off camera while I'm watching TV. Sometimes I just don't include it because it obviously adds a fair bit of length of time to the video. But I thought, why not include it all here for you? I have sped it up. I think this is currently at maybe 4 times the normal speed, 4 or 5, so quite fast. But what it will do is it will show you from start to finish how I go about backing a design like this one. I'll also show you here the image that I'm working with. So this is the layout that Karen made, and all I'm doing with my cut file and the backing here is replicating that background grid that she has on her page. So as you can see, I don't actually pre-cut my pattern paper to go behind the cut file. I actually glue it straight on. So I do like to work with paper scraps just because it does make it a little bit easier. I then use a liquid adhesive. This one is Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And then I just trim off the excess. So I don't draw around the shape first and then rub it out and then glue it on. I used to do that, but then I found that I was going back and trimming off edges anyway. So it was, to me, it seemed like extra steps. If you haven't tried this, maybe give it a go. I do a lot of this work, so maybe that helps. But I just find it's the quickest way for me to do it. And you don't need very much glue. That's my other hot tip. Less than you think you will need, because when the paper hits the cardstock hits the pattern paper, the glue smooshes out and you don't want oozy, gluey mess showing on your beautiful cut file. So yeah, use less than you think you need, just a few little drops, and then press it on and then trim off the excess. And see, that one, I didn't even have to go around all the edges because a lot of the edges were hidden behind other parts that I had backed. Hope that makes sense. So yes, that's the fastest way I find to do this. And for my grid, I'm actually just going with a bit of a random pattern. So it's not a true pattern in that it's not the sequence repeated. I have just mixed and matched, I think 3 or 4, 5 different pattern papers from the collection. And then I'm just making sure, obviously, that no 2 patterns are side by side on the same row. And that it all looks balanced, and that the colors are represented across the grid nice and evenly. And I love how it's coming together. I love that softer peach tone and then the pops of the deep green and the purple. It's a really lovely color combination, and I'm so glad to be inspired to use this collection again because I actually haven't used it in some time, so I'm really excited about how this turned out, and I am so thankful to Karen for the inspiration. So as I finish up the little grid here, you will notice that I have the 2 squares there in the center that I have not fully backed. I'm leaving them somewhat empty because my photo will go over the top there. And I am being super thrifty with my pattern papers. I actually have not very many pattern papers in this collection left, but a heap of embellishments. So I know it's only a small piece, but I'm just like, you know what? No one will know that that's not backed behind there. So I will leave it as it is for now. Now this super pretty shade of purple is going to be one of my main colors, so I am going to use it to back my photo. I do very often use a very thin mount for my photo, so I am going to go with the pretty mauve for that. And here are the gorgeous buttons that Karen sent us. So she has a button shop, a flare button shop, and oh, she's so generous. She sent us all. We could go into the store and we could choose flare buttons that we would enjoy, and she made them up and she posted them all the way from America out to me in Australia. And I love them. I noticed that she said that she doesn't normally have customers in Australia as yet. And I cannot wait until she does because they are so cute. They're actually a little bit flatter. Some of the flares you get are very, what's the word? Arched. No, it's maybe not the word, but they're not. These flare, the tops of the flare sit flat, so you get that beautiful dimension for your page and a lovely textural element to add to your layout, but they sit beautifully when in the album, in the sleeves. So I'm so excited to have them. I end up using 2 on this layout, and yeah, I'm really thankful that she went to the trouble of sending them halfway around the world just so that I could enjoy using them on this layout. Of course, I will leave a link in the description box below to her shop. I'll also leave a link to her YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. 10 out of 10 would recommend. She's definitely a really inspiring creative, and she's just kicking off a new series about organization. So who doesn't love crafty organization? Be sure to check that out as well. You can see now that I have finished the background of the layout. So my cut file's complete and I have centered it onto a piece of white cardstock. I did also run it through my sewing machine. So just to add an extra little detail along all of the lines within the grid there, I've added some stitching, and I've also created a border around the base, and I've used that same pretty mauve color. So it's going to be the color that's going to sort of help everything feel like it's coming together. So it's really the main feature color, which is why I have included it on my background border on my photo mat. And I also happen to choose the word, which is the title for the layout, happiness, and it is in that same mauve. I'm also going to pop the image of Karen's layout back up in the corner here, just so that you can see where this is going. And I actually have this printed out in front of me just off screen, and I am going to replicate it pretty closely. So Karen's placed her photo slightly to the right and then centered on her layout. So I have replicated that. Her title for the page is underneath the photo, and I did do the same for mine. My title is slightly longer though, so I did decide to center it underneath the photo there. She also has embellishment clusters in the top right hand corner and bottom left hand corner, and I do adjust those ever so slightly. I kind of wanted, I talk a lot about the flow of the embellishment clusters on my layouts, and I do like how everything is touching. So I felt for my page, I wanted it to be a little bit more compact. I didn't want the outer embellishments to be quite as far away as her layout. I hope that makes sense. So just move them in a little bit. So the bottom row, I'm using the second last block instead of the far left block, and then same with up the top. Rather than putting the embellishment right on that corner block, I've just moved it in a little bit. Very slight adjustment. It was just how I felt that for what I had going on and the embellishments that I was using, that it just flowed for my page. If you'd like to hear more about how I think about the flow of a page when I'm creating my layouts, jump onto any of my other videos. I do mention it quite a lot here on my channel, and you'll get a feel for how I work and how I put elements together, thinking about, rather than say embellishment clusters and a visual triangle, I think more about the flow of the eye and how it's going to travel along the page. I will show you in a moment. I often show you with my hands as I'm going where I'm going with that, and I do that in a moment here. And I am going to create a little embellishment cluster on the right. And of course, I have pulled out one of the flare buttons that I'm going to be using, this super sweet floral button, and it is the perfect match for this collection. I obviously knew I was using this collection before I started and before I chose the buttons, and I was very hopeful that it would be close. It is perfect. So I'm really excited about that. It doesn't end up staying there. It actually goes towards the left, and I switch out things a little bit. But it is a bit of a process for me, the embellishment cluster building. It's a bit of trial and error. I jokingly sort of say that I need to audition all the things in all the places until I'm happy. So things do get moved around a little bit, just as a natural part of my process. I am a bit like Karen too, in that I like embellishment heavy layouts. I love all the little bits and pieces. They just make my heart so happy. So I love adding lots of different elements to my layout, and that takes time to build a layout like that. Things are getting serious though, because I'm gluing stuff down. Got to be happy with that. I did actually audition the butterfly flare as well on the layout, but in the end decided, well, obviously I had to use the perfectly matched floral. It ends up on the left here. And then I went with a black and white little sentiment one that says love this. And I really like that. It's a really sweet touch, and it really helps, I think, balance out the page, because it's another black and white element that's not in my photo that's now on the embellishments. I'm adding some more of my liquid adhesive to all the little bits and pieces. There's some puffy stickers, there's some fabric elements, there's a sweet little bow. I'm all about them bows. And yeah, lots of little bits and pieces that really pull together to help finish embellishing the layout. And as I do that, I just wanted to thank you for spending your creative time with me today. If you like the way that I scrapbook, or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new to see more videos just like this one. Be sure to check out the description box below for all the details of this layout. I'll leave you with close-up images as I always do. Thank you for being here, my creative friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!